The hostage broadcast began with laughter. Commander Vraxel of the Keth Syndicate lounged upon a throne of alloy and bone, his plated limbs spread wide as if the galaxy itself were beneath his claws. Behind him, shackled to a grav ring, stood Ambassador Lena Ortiz of Earth, her suit torn, her expression steady in a way Vraxel found deeply irritating. He had expected pleading. Humans were known for noise when cornered. "This is diplomacy," Vraxel announced to the assembled cameras, his translator dripping mock courtesy. "You send envoys. We take leverage." The chamber echoed with the approving clicks of his officers. Ortiz said nothing. Her silence felt heavier than chains. Across known space, the broadcast spread. Merchant councils watched in horror. Protectorates looked away, already calculating how quickly they would comply when their turn came. The Keth Syndicate did not make threats twice. They displayed consequences, and they enjoyed the performance. Vraxel rose and paced before his captive, talons ringing against the deck. He recited his demands with theatrical care. Mineral rights from 3 human colonies, unrestricted labor acquisition quotas, and a permanent Keth presence in Earth's outer systems. In return, the ambassador would be returned alive, mostly intact. "You have one standard cycle," he concluded. "After that, negotiations will continue without her." Ortiz finally lifted her head. Her dark eyes met the camera, not Vraxel. "Earth will respond," she said evenly. No defiance, no fear, just a statement of fact. Vraxel snorted and turned away, bored already. The feed cut moments later, leaving the galaxy buzzing with speculation. On Earth, the message was received in a room designed for restraint. Screens lined the walls, each replaying the broadcast from a different angle. President Amari Chun stood at the center, hands clasped behind her back, jaw tight but voice calm as she addressed the gathered council. "They want us loud," she said. "They want fleets and fury and panic." General Rook frowned. "We can deliver that." "Yes," Chun replied, "but that would give them what they understand." She turned to Ortiz's personnel file, hovering in the air. Lena was chosen because she understands silence. The council debated briefly, efficiently. Retaliation was obvious. Capitulation was unacceptable. Somewhere between those extremes lay something older than starships and treaties. When a final decision was reached, it was recorded in a single line of formal response, transmitted on an open diplomatic channel. The Keth received it within minutes. Vraxel watched the text scroll past, his mandibles twitching as he translated it twice to be sure he had not missed a threat hidden in flowery human language. "We acknowledge receipt of your communication," it read. "Resolution is underway." That was all. Laughter filled the throne chamber again, louder than before. Vraxel gestured dismissively. "That is our answer?" he asked. No tribute offered. No fleet movements detected. Humans posture, then freeze. He settled back onto his throne, satisfied. A predator could afford patience when prey had nowhere to run. Far from the cameras, Ortiz closed her eyes and exhaled once. She knew Earth well enough to recognize restraint when she heard it. Somewhere, a choice had been made. Not a noisy one. The kind that did not need witnesses. The kind that arrived quietly and far too late to stop. Vraxel ordered wine and music, already composing the speech he would deliver at the execution. To him, the matter was finished. To Earth, it had only begun, though no one in the chamber could hear the turning of distant gears or feel the decision moving with patient, deliberate speed toward a reckoning no empire had prepared for. The shuttle dropped out of slip space above the scorched moons of Virith Prime, its hull still trembling from the jump. Inside, Captain Run Ishida stood alone before the viewport, his reflection ghosting against the stars. The pale armor he wore, woven with reactive fibers and ceramic plating, was silent testament to the centuries of discipline his ancestors had distilled into one purpose: the mastery of the body as a weapon. He was Earth's chosen envoy of retribution, though the mission file named him something colder. Asset H9. Rin preferred Ninja. It sounded human. Below, the Galactic slaver's dreadnought shimmered like a steel cathedral, its hull etched with sigils of conquest. Inside that ship was Ambassador Layla Karan, taken alive during the ambush at the Epsilon Accord Summit. Her capture had humiliated the United Terran Coalition and fractured months of delicate diplomacy. The Galactic Directorate debated protocols, countermeasures, sanctions. Earth sent a single man. Ren's voice broke the hum of the engines. I have visual on the target vessel. Confirm infiltration parameters. Command's reply came through a secure quantum link. Sterile, metallic, stripped of emotion. Insertion Vector 9-3. You are not authorized for lethal escalation beyond retrieval priority. He almost smiled beneath his mask. They always said that. The drop pod sealed around him, hydraulics whispering like breath. His heart rate slowed as the neural synchronizer linked with his armor, mapping every nerve impulse. He could feel the machine breathe with him, slow, precise, predatory. The pod ejected, slicing through the void like a falling star. As the dreadnought's gravitational field caught him, Ren angled his descent, landing with a muted thud atop an external maintenance platform. The cold bit through his armor. The silence was absolute. He moved, fluid, invisible. The sentry drones patrolling the hull blinked past him, fooled by the adaptive camouflage and the rhythm of his breathing. Inside, corridors pulsed with alien light, luminescent veins running through steel arteries. Every step took him deeper into the vessel's throat. Through his visor, Ren accessed fragmented transmissions. Torture. Interrogation. Layla's voice, hoarse but defiant. You think humanity bends? You don't understand what we are. Her words stirred something in him. Not sentiment, but recognition. He had been trained to be the embodiment of that refusal. To bend, to yield, to break the unbreakable. He reached a sealed door etched with alien glyphs. His fingers brushed the lock. It wasn't a matter of force, but rhythm. The system responded to patterns of light and pressure. Ren studied, mimicked, and in seconds, the mechanism surrendered with a soft hiss. Inside was darkness and the faint scent of ozone. Layla hung, suspended within a containment field, her body trembling under the drain of neural suppressors. Her eyes lifted as Ren stepped forward. You're human. Mostly, he said, deactivating the restraints. Her body collapsed into his arms, frail but alive. Ambassador Layla Karan, Earth sent me. She tried to laugh, the sound raw and broken. They sent one man. Ren adjusted his grip and scanned the chamber. They sent enough. A tremor rippled through the floor. Security breach alarms, harsh and alien. The dreadnought had detected him. He looked toward the corridor where shadows lengthened, moving against the light. Armored silhouettes approached, their forms insectoid and deliberate. Can you walk? He asked. She nodded weakly. For now, then stay close. Ren drew his twin blades from the scabbards across his back. The sound was soft, almost reverent, metal whispering against its sheath. The air thickened, heavy with anticipation. In the distance, the first alien roared, a deep, resonant sound that carried through the steel corridors. Ren smiled behind the mask, settling into stance. I don't need guns, he murmured as the first enemy lunged into the light. The corridor erupted in chaos as Ren met the advancing slavers head-on. Their armor gleamed like chitin, refracting the ship's violet light, and each movement came with the precision of a species bred for conquest. Ren moved faster, each step measured, each strike surgical. His twin blades cut through the air in arcs of silver, finding weak joints between armor plates. The first creature fell silently. The second managed a gurgled hiss before collapsing into its own blood. Ren's breathing stayed calm, his rhythm constant, as if combat was an old, familiar meditation. Layla stumbled behind him, her balance uncertain after hours of neural suppression. How many are there? She whispered, pressing against the wall for support. Too many to count, Ren replied, scanning the intersection ahead. His visor highlighted movement, dozens of heat signatures converging. But they're predictable. They always underestimate what they don't understand. A plasma bolt sliced past him, scorching the wall. Ren ducked low, grabbing Layla's wrist and pulling her into a maintenance hatch. The narrow tunnel reeked of coolant and metallic dust. He sealed the hatch behind them, plunging them into dim light. The hum of the dreadnought's power conduits surrounded them, a constant, throbbing pulse that mimicked a living heartbeat. Layla studied him, her voice trembling between awe and suspicion. "What are you exactly? You move like a ghost, but your armor, that's not standard Coalition tech." "I was trained in the Shinsei program," he said quietly. "Built for infiltration, not destruction. We were meant to go where armies can't." "Were?" He paused, the faintest shadow passing behind his visor. "The program was shut down. Too much fear about what we'd become." Layla looked away, her jaw tightening. "And yet here you are." Earth resurrected its ghost to clean up political mistakes. Ren didn't respond. The truth of her words lingered heavier than the air. His existence was a paradox, an instrument forged by peacekeepers, then buried when peace demanded denial. Now he was their only solution. He checked the map projection flickering on his wrist display. "Escape pods are stored near the dorsal hangar. We'll need to cross the containment decks. That means more resistance." "Do we have a choice?" she asked. "No, but we'll make one." They crawled through the conduit until it opened into a vertical shaft, illuminated by a soft, alien glow. Energy streams pulsed upward, feeding the dreadnought's main reactor. Ren anchored a magnetic line and began the ascent, his movements silent and efficient. Layla followed, her breathing ragged but determined. Halfway up, the alarms shifted tone from warning to alert. A mechanical screech echoed below as automated drones swarmed into the shaft. Ren drew one blade and swung downward, slicing through the first drone in a shower of sparks. "Keep climbing," he barked. Layla obeyed, her hands trembling against the cold rungs. Ren used the wall as leverage, pushing off to deliver precise mid-air strikes. Each motion wasted nothing. Each kill was inevitable. Still, they kept coming. Reaching the top, he pulled her through the exit and sealed the hatch, his armor steaming from exertion. They stood in a corridor lined with transparent panels showing the stars outside, a cruel reminder of how far from Earth they were. Layla pressed her palm to the glass. All of this just to enslave another world. Ren followed her gaze. They don't see it as enslavement. They see it as order. To them, freedom is chaos. She turned to him, studying the unreadable mask. "And you? What do you see?" Ren hesitated. "I see a choice. Every mission, every kill, every life saved or lost. It's all choice. That's what makes us human." Before she could answer, the deck vibrated beneath their feet. A deep, resonant hum grew from below, accompanied by alien chants reverberating through the hull. Ren recognized it. The dreadnought was awakening its prime commander. He tightened his grip on his blades, his voice low and certain. "We're out of time." The sound grew into a thunder that shook the corridor. Ren steadied himself as the bulkhead at the far end unfurled like a metallic iris, revealing the prime commander. The creature was immense, its carapace glinting with bioengineered symmetry, each motion radiating the certainty of dominance. Its voice rolled through the air, translated by the ship's systems into a deep, distorted growl. "Human, you trespass where empires are born." Ren's stance widened, blades angled like the hands of a clock poised for the final second. "Then I'll end one before it begins." The Prime Commander's arms split into bladed appendages, each humming with charged energy. It lunged with impossible speed. Ren met the assault head-on, their collision producing a shockwave that shattered nearby panels. Sparks and shrapnel rained across the floor. He ducked, pivoted, and struck low, but his blades glanced off the alien's armor, leaving only shallow furrows. Layla crouched behind a console, her fingers darting over alien controls. "Run. There's a power conduit under the floor grid. If you could draw it over." "I know," he said through clenched teeth, parrying another strike that nearly split his shoulder plate. His muscles screamed under the pressure. The commander pressed forward, forcing him back toward the wall. The alien's voice pulsed through the ship's speakers. You think one body, one blade can defy a fleet? Rin exhaled, centering his focus. Not a fleet. Just you. He shifted his weight, feinting high, then dropped into a roll. The commander's blade missed by inches, striking the floor and fracturing the plating. Layla seized the moment, slamming her hand on a glowing control node. Energy flared beneath the grid, erupting in a surge of plasma that engulfed the alien's legs. The Prime Commander roared, staggering as molten circuitry fused around its armor. Rin surged forward, crossing his blades in an arc that found the crack in its chest plating. The strike buried deep. The alien convulsed, a shockwave of heat and static radiating outward. Rin was thrown back, his armor sparking. He hit the ground hard, vision swimming. The commander towered, wounded but unbroken. You cannot kill what has transcended death. Layla shouted. Run, the containment breach. If I reroute the energy, it'll detonate the entire deck. He pushed himself up, gripping his blades. Do it. She froze. You'll die too. Then make it count. Her hands trembled, but she obeyed. The control panel screamed as she forced a cascade override. Alarms blared, the ship's systems collapsing into chaos. The Prime Commander turned toward her, sensing the threat. Rin moved, pure instinct, pure purpose. Every motion he had ever learned, every sacrifice made to forge him, culminated in that final instant. He launched himself into the air, blades drawn, colliding with the alien just as the reactor surge ignited. Light consumed the corridor. Sound dissolved into vibration. For a moment, there was nothing but the brilliance of release. When consciousness returned, Rin found himself drifting amid twisted metal. His armor's systems were failing. Oxygen warnings blinked faintly. He saw Layla's escape pod spinning away from the wreckage, its thrusters firing weakly. Relief passed through him like a breath. She was alive. That was enough. He activated his comm, static filling the channel. Command, this is Asset H9. Mission complete. Target neutralized. There was no response, just the crackle of radiation and the soft hum of silence. He looked out at the stars, their cold light unblinking. The dreadnoughts remains drifted like shards of a broken crown. His reflection in the visor stared back, scarred, weary, human. He wondered if this was what his creators feared. Not power, but the clarity that came with purpose fulfilled. As the last of his armor's power ebbed, Rin closed his eyes. Somewhere, far away, Earth would learn what one man had done. One shadow had stood against an empire, and in that stillness between breaths, Rin allowed himself the faintest smile. Mission accomplished, he whispered to the void as the stars swallowed him whole.